Alright, welcome back everybody. Where we left off, we had just put on the larger docking node for larger spacecraft, that sort of thing. We so far are leaving on these external girders here. I will be removing them once we're all done and set and have the station built. But I said that we want to get rid of this fuel right here, this engine and fuel tank. But before I do that, I'd really like a fuel tank up here to perhaps put some fuel in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back here to the vehicle assembly building, and we are going to get a nice large orange tank up there for refueling and stuff like that, and see if we can't dump the fuel from that smaller engine into it. That way we can ditch it without worrying about wasting fuel or anything like that. So we load up our space station core right here. We want as much fuel as possible getting it up there, but we don't really have to worry too much. So this is everything we had from before. The original get it into space thing. And once again, I'm going to get rid of that like that. Get rid of all this. Now, what we need is a remote guidance unit. Is this the right size for these? No. Bigger remote guidance. 0.1, 0.5. There we go. Big remote guidance unit. Alright. And then our ship is going to be an orange tank. There we go. And we can put on, I think for our senior docking ports, we'll put it on the back end of the fuel, since that's where a lot of the mass is coming from. This is the back of the ship, keep in mind. This is not what's docking to the station. What's docking to the station is this side. So we're going to have to flip our control and everything once we're up there. But to make it nice and neat looking, we're going to take one of these, flip it upside down, and put on a docking port. If I can remember where the docking ports are. I herp derped. The game's herp derping. There we go. Now, this is of course going to need some engines to get the approach and everything like that. So over here we have the radio mounts with a nice white color on them. We'll put 3 of those on it, just so it has some capabilities, and we'll end up using a little fuel more than likely. I also want to add RCS to it, because let's face it, if you're refueling, you might as well also refuel the RCS. Now let me pull up center of mass. It looks to be just about centered. Well, it's lower than there, so if we put these right here, I always do 4. I like 4. Right there. That means we have to come down lower on that. And then I'll put some right on the center of mass as well. There we go. So we got our RCS balance, we have RCS fuel, we have the docking node that will be the one that attaches to the station. We're going to be flying backwards once we go into RCS mode. These can still point that way. We got that guy, and I forgot something. Look at me go. We need that, and we're also going to need battery. Okay, make sure we're still pretty much centered on the center of mass. No big deal. Alright, and just in case we're up in space longer than I thought we would be, I'll add solar panels so we can keep the battery charged for torque and stuff like that. And then we pretty much just add back on our launching stage. Just like that. And then, since it's a big orange tank, we really don't need to worry about supports too much. Just right here we're at Christmas tree effects. So, here to the hard points, that'll support all that. And I think I'll add 4 hard points just like this, just so we can attach from the RCS up to that, and then from the torque down to that. And right here the engine got in the way. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we're supported here on 2 ends, and then we're all supported on 4 ends up here at the top. And that senior docking port, that is strictly to dock more of these fuel tanks. So our next fuel tank, if we added a second one, won't need this Christmas tree down here at the bottom. It'll just be from the RCS up, which would be easier to mount onto our launch stage. I'm just checking right now, make sure all of our staging still works. Doop, doop, boop, boop. Get rid of the big tank. It doesn't all still work, because we have that, and then it wants to fire those at the same time. So I have to add a stage. No big deal. And when we're in space and everything, using this engine here, I'm going to have to tell it to not use the fuel here. So, yeah, station fuel resupply. Save that. Everything looks good. And this time I'm not going to forget these. That way you guys can't bitch at me anymore. And all those, actually, get rid of that. Go right where the engines are. Alright. And then we launch. This is going to be a relatively quick video. I'm just going to put this one up there, move around the large docking node, and then if we have time, I'm going to go ahead and make the power, the solar panel array, more or less. It's going to be a solar panel array with a couple RTGs, nothing fancy. Alright, now we're very top heavy this time, so I'm going to have to be pretty careful doing all this. So here we go. Yeah, that top's wobbling really good. I can't control it. Well, maybe I can control it. It's just being a little bit of a jackass here. I'm trying. This looks like a failure. Feels like a failure. Acting like a failure. Uh-oh. Something didn't decouple correctly. Nothing's decoupling correctly. It's just all going into its own little staging and everything. Let me revert flight to the assembly building. Since nothing's really docking to this, we can go ahead and add girders. So we can add more support, because apparently that was wobbly beyond all recognition. Alright, just like that. And then a lot of our wobble came from just the orange tank. So we really just need to worry about the orange tank by going like that. Then from the very top down to the orange tank. And that should add enough support. I'm going to add a little bit more by going here to there. The nice thing is those will stay once it's docked, creating a pretty good, strong support within itself. So we'll save that again. For some reason my staging wanted to do stupid things. I'm not sure why. When I tried to release one of the asparagus stage things, it herp-derped and it didn't drop them. It just kept them and put the staging in itself. I'm not sure why. I may have been hitting a button on accident that wasn't the right one, but I'm pretty sure I was hitting spacebar, so still confused a little bit. Turn that on, throttle up, and go. That is much more stable. Still not perfect. I see where we have wobble now. It's right here. Well, you gotta keep in mind, we are lifting a very heavy load here. So wobble is to be expected, but it is staying straight up this time. It's nothing crazy. And it shouldn't do that much longer. Especially once I drop these two engines, the G-forces will go down, the wobble should also go down a little bit. And that's what seems to have happened. Our speed is certainly below 200 meters a second, below 10,000. I'm at full throttle as well, so I don't really have to worry about terminal velocity. And as you see, I didn't time with this space station and everything. So I'm going to be doing harder maneuvers and everything, but the result is going to be the same, more or less. I'm just going to get up there to where we need to be. And do some maneuvers to get in close to the station and all that kind of stuff. Alright, starting my gravity turn. Uh-oh. We released from somewhere. Oh, that's why it did that. What did it break on? What's broken? I'm trying to figure out where it broke so we can go back and fix it. I see the struts came off, which means that we disconnected from at least here, but I don't know what broke in here. It looks like we don't have RCS, so it may have broken between the RCS and the orange tank. And we still have thrust coming from this thing. So that's being a pain in the ass. Yeah, I can set those as target. I have that. If that's the case... Oh, come on, you gotta be out of fuel soon. As you can see, since that pressure is pushing up against the brake, I'm able to turn the rocket and everything. It's pushing flat up against the bottom of it. I'm just trying to release from it so I can go do my own thing. Actually, I'm just releasing so I can see exactly where it broke. Which is what happened last time, apparently, and I didn't realize it. Alright. I can't dock without that RCS, so this is me just trying. There we go, now I can see. Alright, so yeah, it broke between the RCS and that. So we'll have to add support between the RCS and the orange tank. Not a big deal. Pretty easy fix. And yes, this is the process most people go through when launching these rockets. They don't build them correctly the first time every time. It's a good chunk of figuring out what the hell goes wrong, fixing it, and then trying again, and again, and again. Alright. So it was between the RCS and the orange tank, which I thought I had plenty of support, but apparently not. So what I'm going to do is use hard points, 4 of them, go from the orange tank here to the top of that, and then from this, go from right to left, and then from left to right, and then spiderweb it up here as well. You can get pretty intense with those supports and everything. And then just for some added support, we're going to go like that. Now, we should not have any issues with that anymore. If we do, then the game just hates me today, and I'm going to start throwing cupcakes at it. I will throw cupcakes at the game. All over the monitor area. Let's see here. It's taking forever to load. There we go. T to turn that on. Throttle up. And go. Oh, that is much, much better. Well, I want to say much better. I mean, I can see our weak point right here. But that's to be expected. I mean, look at where the struts go and everything. They all go right there. And with too much wobbling comes braking and not good stuff. But I think we'll be okay. I mean, as long as I can keep this going up, our weak point seems to be a combination of lots of things in this area, right here. I mean, but that is where a lot of the torque and everything's coming from, is that area. Getting a lot of wobble. Hopefully it survives the gravity turn here. And this is the hard part. Getting a full orange tank up to a space station is probably the hardest thing you'll launch. It's a lot of mass. Oh boy. Wow. Hmm. I don't think I can get this much mass up there. I'm gonna try though. I mean, we have lots of fuel and everything. Just that we're only traveling at 50, 60 meters a second. So I'm gonna have to. And I have no RCS again. Okay. More struts. That's pretty much the name of the game. More struts. But I realized something. With all that fuel below us and everything, we really, really don't need anything from this section. We really don't. We are carrying our own fuel and everything like that. Alright. Now I still want this for docking. It makes it a lot easier to get in there. That sort of thing. So I'm just going to take some struts. I made the rocket shorter and more stable doing that. And that's just from observation from what I was flying. And realizing that I had engines on the tank that I'm delivering. So we should be good. I mean, I don't see why this would fail at this point. Alright. Everything's still staged correctly. And there we go. That is a whole lot less stages and a lot more... what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more efficiency from it. I mean, this lower stage here that I've built, it's rated for probably about 80 tons to 90 tons of lift. And these orange tanks weigh 36 tons. Plus 3 tons for the RCS, then a couple tons for up here, so it'll be pretty good. A lot of my efficiency issues was actually coming from the fact that I had such a long rocket and I had that smaller rocket in the middle there. So we'll save that. And I noticed that we haven't been using that smaller rocket for any of our launches, so why not get rid of it and save efficiency and speed and all that. Alright. This time's the winning time. And just to save some video time, I'll get the space station to come over here. Okay. Like I said, you just pretty much want it there. That's the good happy spot. Set as target. Yes, you can click the orbital line to set it as target as well. You don't have to click on the actual craft. Alright. Boom. Everything's looking good and smexy. Now this is a robot, so we don't have to award him with cupcakes or anything. He'll have to find his own rewards, and I'll give him cookies. Not the kind of cookies you can eat, but I'll give the Mr. Robot cookies. I'm sure he would actually appreciate that. Okay, stage 1, done. Perfect release, and we're not wobbling really much at all here. We seem to be flying pretty darn stable. I am going to start my turn a little bit earlier because I want some lateral movement. Okay. I'm not really worried about terminal velocity now since we're not wobbling so much. Okay, and now we really start our turn. 70 degrees, 60 degrees, 50, and then we park it here at 45 until second stage needs to be released, which doesn't take too long. We just gotta wait a couple seconds here. Almost there, in fact. They're completely out now. Now we're just running off the center stage. Come up here. We need to go up higher, clearly. So I'm going to add vertical ascent. And while I wait for that vertical ascent to actually happen, I'm going to light a cigarette. Why? Because I'm old enough to, and you guys can shut up about the cancer. Oh, it's bad for you. You don't think I know this? I know it's bad for me. Don't really care, though. I enjoy it. And you should enjoy the fact that I enjoy it. There we go. Be happy that I'm happy. We do need to face a little south, though. So I'm going to go ahead and point this way on the nav ball. See how north is there? If you point towards the opposite 180, you're pointing south, and that'll bring your orbit down to it. You can see my descending node and stuff like that adjusting because I am bringing down my orbit. Just bringing her down. Downtown. Okay, we have that. That's good. I want to face more south. I'm going to line up the orbit more than I really line up anything else. Let's face south, which is 180 on the nav ball. This line. And what that'll do is it'll pull down this leg. Ever so slightly. But we will be there and the target will be there. So we gotta let the target catch up to us. We all know how to do this. You make your apoapses higher than the target. And if you notice, I'm not in orbit yet and I'm doing orbital maneuvers. We got plenty of time to worry about getting into orbit. So come up and we increase that. Now you can see we got two things. When we first get up there, target's going to be back there. Then when we come down and come to here, target is going to be, see, the further out we go, the closer the target gets to us. And right there, 4 kilometers away. Looks pretty good to me. So let's come up to here. Looks like that happened. I'm going to turn RCS so we can turn a little bit faster. I hate the slow turning and everything. And we have plenty of RCS. I am not worried about using any of it. Okay. Locked in. Now, that is increasing, so we'll skip getting into orbit at this point right here and do it once we're down here at our intercept. Okay, target. Remember, kill relative velocity, and you'll be okay. Which I'm trying to do now without falling into the atmosphere. But we have plenty of space here to be able to catch up. Hopefully I have enough fuel and this doesn't turn into a dum-dum moment. But I'm getting there. Only 800 meters left to go. Alright. Still above atmosphere at 100,000 meters, which is good. Velocity's just about orbital at this point. Getting up to the target now. Getting up to the target now. Now we start heading towards the target. We should see right here. 5. Oop. We were at 5 and then it shrunk down. I went too far. But what's this one? 44? No, we can't use that one. You see right here we're zipping past them. Which is alright. I'm not too worried about that. Got 13 here. I'll take the 13. We zip past him. Now we're letting him zip past us. And our closest intercept's going to be right here. Right here. Alright, now we got to find our relative velocity negative, which is the one with the X in it. So it's on the opposite side of the nav ball. That one is. Lovely. So we got to stay here and wrap around. Wrapping right there. Trying to slow down. Trying to do this. Trying. Promise. It's a big fat rocket. Like really big rocket. It's not easy to point it anywhere. It literally moves like a train. But once we release it so we're just the fuel tank, we should be alright. $13.6 out. See if we can shrink that a little bit more. Alright. Shrinking. Oh, what do we got? 4.2, 3, 2, 1, and 500 meters. That's more than close enough for me. Now, if you notice, we don't have a way to undock, so decouple. Space to turn on those engines. And why aren't those engines on? That is completely empty. Well, that's cool. Definitely be able to drain out the space station then. Luckily we have RCS and we got our approach close enough. Alright, there's our space station. I'm gonna kill relative velocity. You can, with RCS, you can do that by pointing straight at it like that. Switch to docking and gun it in reverse with the S key. And let's try not to drift past it. I'm trying here. Looks like we're gonna drift past it. Not what I wanted to do. We do need to go down anyways. No, that's not down. Camera's not in chase mode. Alright, relative velocity is almost zeroed out now. I'm going to turn that on so I can watch my monopropellant levels. Alright. This is me trying to get it as close to zero as possible. Makes life so much easier. Oop. Bam, zero. We are technically not moving anywhere. So I'm going to switch back to this mode. Point at the target, preferably without RCS. Oh, I forgot to control from here. That's going to switch everything backwards, but I'm just go like this. Point at the target. Now remember the old trick I told you guys. Hit V until it says camera chase. That way everything is correct. Alright, now we come in towards the target. I'm going to go about 3 meters a second here, because I can the tank's empty, so I can easily slow that down. If the tank was full, I wouldn't want to go much faster than zero point 0.3 or zero point 0.4 meters a second, but since it's empty, it's very light now in comparison. So we're coming in. I'm going to time warp a little bit, just for the sake of video. I'm going to come up, up, bank right. Okay, lined it back up, time warp a little bit. Now we don't have lights on this thing, so we're going to have to rely on the station lights to help us out here, which is fine. I'm getting in nice and close here, getting myself oriented. Alright. Okay. Now I definitely want to drop down. That's a no-brainer. Okay. Now go like this. And I'm not balanced anymore. You can see my ship wobbling and stuff. So I'm gonna have to do this from the seat of my pants. Okay. Let that settle out. Need to come up now. Set pretty much any node as the one I want. Okay. Now you can see I'm just playing around with the yellow marker there. We're going to let it drift in here at 1.3. Nothing serious. Making sure I'm lined up. I'm going to get my roll correct here, just so it looks nicer. Now I'm going to back off a little bit here. Do final adjustment. Slow down a little bit more. Alright. Everything looks good so far. Slow down a little bit more. Come up. A little bit to the right. A little bit to the left. And then get in there. And it should just snap right into place for us, and bam. We have a fuel tank, however it is empty. I did screw that up. But look at what we have here. You right click that, hold Alt, right click that, and drain it out. Right click that, or that one, hold Alt, and click in. There. We have some fuel in our refueling tank. Now we can always dock other tanks onto it in the future. And now we can get rid of this. Decouple that. Now we want to get this down where that was. Well, it's still kind of in the way because undocking it really doesn't do much. There we go. Switch to it. Turn on RCS. Back up. Alright. Now we want to face pretty much straight up north. Okay. Straight up north. I'm going to orient everything. Okay. Alright. Now we're lined up. Like I said, you want to be in chase mode so your keys line up to what you're actually doing. So to knock him off, I need to go down. Going down, going down, going down. Okay. I'm going to set that as target just so we have that. Alright. Now down was that way, so shift is up. I'm going up. Up a little bit faster. Okay. Now we can slow down. Boop, boop. Moving to the right as fast as we can just to bump them out of the way. I'm going to move up a little bit. Rotate the craft so it lines up with everything else. Now he should just drift right out of there, no problems. Now I'm just going to line this up by eyeball. I'm not trying to do anything impressive. It's a very light craft, no problem. And there we go. It's going to do its wobble thing, connect. Alright. Now, like I said, I was going to release those. And luckily, they are more than capable of launching themselves right off there. So, decouple, and you can see it launches it. Hopefully that doesn't break anything. Did hit the tank. It's going to roll around on the tank a little bit, but I can rotate the whole station just to get it out of the way. And there we go. We now have a fueling tank, which doesn't have much fuel in it yet, but we could always do more missions to add more fuel to it. It's not a big deal. And using time warp is a great way to stop things from rotating. Alright, we have the larger docking node for larger ships. This center core here is where we're going to be attaching our utilities like power and Kerbal storage and possibly other things like scientific equipment, that sort of thing. Next time we will be adding the solar array, which I will attach to this one here, coming out this way, right there, which will put solar panels horizontal there so it keeps the solar panels away from this completely. Until then, I hope you guys learned a little bit of something, and you guys have a great one.